Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the FEG PC NASCAR Oval Series every Monday night. Brought to you by FEG PC. Today, we are at the virtual Kentucky Speedway, switching things up. Originally slotted for Bristol tonight, but things got a little bit changed around. As always, my name is James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, and accompanied by the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister. Gareth, welcome to the booth. Welcome to virtual Kentucky. What are you expecting out of these drivers tonight?
Thank you very much for having me, James. I appreciate it first and foremost. I'm expecting to have a really, really good race here in Kentucky. I don't know much about the circuit, but as we have a little blip there from the car that we were following there. It's really nice to see quite a big turnout, it looks like, at the moment, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, 37 drivers making their way out on a Monday night. And right now, we're going to send them out on the pit road and get this party started. Starting on pole, Rylan Fascinato in the number 69 starting first. Adam Shane starting second. We've got Jeffrey Radke starting third. Jason Ayerson starting fourth. Corey Stahl fifth in the grid. William Price starting sixth. Jeremy Paris starting seventh. We've got Eric Park starting eighth. John Below starting ninth. John Mullihan 10th on the grid. Fan favorite Jay Dargard starting 11th. Stephen Page will be in the 12th spot. Dalton Randolph starting 13th. David Stryker starting 14th. We've got Chad Ross in the 38 Special Machine starting 15th. Jordan Darnell starting 16th. Greg Lewis starting 17th. Dalton McKinney 18th on the grid. Derek Fulton starting 19th. Jimmy Kubinek starting 20th. Wally Babb starting 21st. Darren DeFelice starting 22nd. Christopher Carter 23rd on the grid. Sean Powers will be starting 24th. We've got Michael Brisson starting 25th. James Kaufman starting 26th. David Nancy starting 27th. Mike Wood starting 28th. Mark McFadden starting 29th. Steven Iyer starting 30th. Roger Hale 31st. Joe Cogburn starting 32nd. Richard Jones 33rd of the grid. We've got Dennis Black starting 34th. Anthony McCall Jr. starting 35th. Jeffrey Weimer starting 36th. And Pete Woodrum will round out the massive 37 truck field here tonight. Gareth, we got 135 laps here to go in Kentucky. Going to be interesting to see. Do we have a bit of a caution fest, or are we expecting maybe some long green flag runs here this evening?
I actually expect that we'll have about a mix of one and the other. I believe, as they say, cautions breed caution, so I fully expect if we do have a caution come out that another one or two will follow suit. But I think these drivers will get it sorted out in a little bit of time and get some nice green flag run. I am hoping to have quite a decent race this time.
Yeah, I'm right there with a green flag run. Some of my favorite action to call as the fans start to pile in. Let us know out there, YouTube, where you're from, who you're cheering on, as the drivers will have this broadcast usually pulled up on a separate screen. If not, they just about always go back and watch it as we are getting ready to roll them out. Rylan Fascinato in that top spot. He'll be accompanied by Adam Shane on the front row. Oh, I'm not sure what we're going to see here. 135 laps, 65% fuel alignment, and no fast repair available to these drivers. So Gareth, tell the fans at home, what's that mean with no fast repair in your back pocket?
Oh, it just basically means that you're pretty much stuck when you get involved in an accident or something like that. You can't just go into the repairs and get the magic of duct tape stuck to your vehicle straight away. Your pit crew is actually going to have to work on that car, or truck, I should say, in this circumstance, to get it actually sorted out and all fixed and ready to go. So you'll have to stay there for probably several minutes, depending on how bad your damage is, and that can potentially ruin a race, as depending on how bad the damage actually is.
Yeah, gonna have to see some patience out of these drivers. A long race, expecting at least 2 stops tonight. Now, drivers will have different tire strategies because they have different amounts of tires behind pit road, depending on that team budget. So some drivers are gonna be hanging out towards the back, keeping the tires underneath them. Some gonna be sending it straight away as we get ready for Rylan Fascinato to get things started. And that number 69 machine, and away they go with Fascinato and Shane on the front row.
Yeah, this will be really interesting already. I mean, they're all over the place towards the middle of the pack, and several two-wide action going on.
Yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Radke making an early lunge forward, I think, in the 51 machine. looking a little bit further back. Corey Stahl and Jason Ayerson going side by side in the battle for fourth. Stahl in the 66, Ayerson in the 44. Looks like that inside line's been pretty quick here early on as we watch the 66 machine. And we're about to have some 2 wide, 2 deep action here in the battle for third. Away they go, 3 wide action once more. Everybody pushing hard here. It's Fascinato, Radke, Shane, and Stahl right here, right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how these things take form. And they have just a limited amount of time to really dig deep on these tires before the time starts to fall off. And right now, though, Fascinato with a 30.92 the last time by, but he's going to have company with the likes of Jeffrey Radke in the number 51. Oh, they're diving in deep. How long will it be before these drivers are settled in? Radke's up 2 spots, Stahl up 2 spots, while Fascinato has cycled back just 1 position into second.
Yeah, Radke looks like he's entering the corner a little bit higher than Fascinato, or should I say that's the opposite way around. Looks like he's able to get a little bit more of a lunge going into the corner. As you can see, they're opening a little bit of a gap already, so it should be interesting how that plays out on tire wear, as well as just if it's a strategy for the rest of the entire race.
Yeah, Fascinato, he's down still 1 spot from where he started, where he qualified in that pole position, but gonna play it safe here, maybe tuck in behind Radke, who's running about 2 tenths faster every lap time by, and Fascinato may be holding on to some tire management, just kind of playing it safe. Gonna be really interesting to see how this pans out for the guys.
We've got Johnny Williams in the spectator area cheering on the 69 from Southern Mississippi.
Yeah, I see that as well. Good to see Johnny coming out, as well as Jeffrey Vickery. He's cheering on the 99 and the 66. The 66 of Corey Stahl. And the 99 will be Wally Babb. I wonder if that's a couple of Georgia natives getting some love from the fans. And speaking of Stahl in the 66, he's now up 3 spots, running second. He's edged out Jason Ayerson and Rylan Fascinato. Fascinato finds himself slipping down the standings here, but look at this, Gareth. Jeffrey Radke, number 51, has pulled a 1-second gap, only 7 laps into this main event.
Yeah, I can't believe that already. That time looks like it's on absolute rails at the moment. It is just flying away from these drivers behind him. Now, it seems like he's definitely got something dialed in, and he's able to just get that thing turned very quickly.
Yeah, Radke's got clean air in front of him, not a whole lot of pressure behind him here. Looking good in the Toyota Tundra. He's up 2 spots from where he qualified, but I don't think we're going to see much fuel saving out of the 51 machine, as he is all over the throttle, hugging that inside line. That's a good thing about Kentucky, a fairly wide raceway out here in the hill country, so good to see Radke getting it dialed in as we cycle back to Corey Stahl in second. Stahl, he's been able to pull about a 6-tenth gap. You have to go back to Rylan Fascinato, who's kind of got his hands full here. He's being chased by William Price, John Below, Jeremy Paris. A lot of big movers inside the top 10.
Yeah, it's looking absolutely racy, as I like to say, with the amount of passing. It looks like it's pretty much going to happen just behind them here, as the 34 is getting overtaken on the inside there.
Yeah,
they're going to go too wide.
It's William Price, I think, maybe losing a spot there. He's trying to battle with John Below. Below up 4 positions so far tonight. No sign of slowing down, but a lot of these drivers know, hey, it's a long race ahead of us. Let's not push too hard too early on. As we touched on earlier in the broadcast, no fast repairs, no get-out-of-jail-free cards. As we watch Fascinato, Below, Price. Oh, here we go in the battle for 4th. Fascinato in the 69, John Below in the 9. Trying to work out the running order here.
Yeah, Below is showing absolute ripper of a pace. He's able to make some moves and get some gains really quickly. Fascinato not letting that run actually happen to take place around him, so keeping up to the 4th spot at the moment. But it looks like Below's going to try it again.
Here comes John Below looking up the inside line. The number 9 machine trying to take over that 4th place spot. Side by side with Fascinato. Who's going to come out on top? Below not quite able to get clear at the 69. As Fascinato holds on to that side draft, but keep an eye out as here comes William Price in the 34 Chevrolet. He wants to get in the mix as well. Speaking of in the mix, we've got Justin McMahon joining us tonight in the spectator area. He's cheering on Below, Paris, and Wood, so good to see him out here in some sort of capacity when he's not driving. Always great hearing from our friend McMahon.
As we have another battle going on already, it looks like the 34 and the 24 are going to be going side by side into turn 1. And, yep, Paris is going to take that spot away.
Yeah, Paris, his truck says 24, his transponder says 37, so he may be running the wrong transponder here tonight, but you're right, picks up the spot from Price. Price will now fall back. Let's go a little bit further back to Adam Shane, who was very far up front, but now, Gareth, he's got all sorts of company from Parks, Ross, Mullahan, Page. That's a pretty healthy battle from 8th place back.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he started up front, I almost wonder if it hasn't got anything. I don't know. I just wonder if the truck's feeling the way that he expected it to, and if the track hasn't come to the track temp that he expected it to tonight. With that Ford F-150, I know that can be a bit of a handful. So, yeah, just wonder if he's struggling a little bit. Hopefully he can get dialed in towards the end of this one, this green flag run, and get it all up there as we go back into 2nd place.
Yeah, that's
Looks
Corey
like
Stahl,
Below
and Harrison, I believe.
Yeah, Below's going to make another pass. He is just running away through the field, not taking any prisoners as he keeps on chugging his way through.
Yeah, Stahl right ahead of him in that 66. He's up 3 spots. Harrison in 4th, sitting exactly where he started in 4th, but John Below in that number 9 machine up 6 positions so far tonight. Not showing any sign of slowing down. Our spectators letting us know, this may be a tire management race, as way ahead you saw Jeffrey Radke 2.5 seconds ahead. So it looks to me like not a lot of tire fuel saving out of your top 10 drivers at this point. It has been green all the way around, but already 17 laps in, we're starting to see the effects of tire wear. Most of the drivers have high 30.8, 30.9 second lap times. This time by, though, most of the field already in the mid to high 32 seconds, a second or higher off their fastest lap. So I think already we're seeing the effects of tire wear come into play.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're burning up their tires out front. But Barlow is going to say no to that trend curve as he continues to seemingly dominate at the moment. His speed is, I don't know, I kind of want to say unmatched at present moment. I'm sure that'll change as the run goes on, but he's got something figured out in that truck.
Yeah, last time by, it was Radke, your race leader, with a 32.18, Below with a 32.22. And Below's been gaining consistently a 10th on all the drivers behind him. So I'd be interested to see when, where, and how John Below in that number 9 Chevrolet will be able to reel in your race leader. But let's go a little bit further back, where it is still a 3-truck battle for 4th. Ryland Machinato, Jeremy Paris, Corey Stahl, all nose to tail here, 20 laps in, and no sign of slowing down from these competitors.
No, they're going to want all the positions they can get. It's certainly looking like, as much as tire wear will come into play, as we have a truck that goes just a little bit too deep. He's going to go straight wide, and already seeing a move down pit road. That's interesting.
Yeah, I would have thought it's going to be a little bit early for that one. I'm going to take a look here. It looks, trying to get eyes on who that was. John Below, Jeremy Paris. all down pit road very early on. So interesting strategy amongst these drivers to get off cycle as Mike Wood also comes down pit road. So not sure what we're seeing. Maybe drivers burning a little bit more fuel than they're expecting, but man, 20 laps in, that's oh, and it's gonna get interrupted, Garrett, as we have a caution out on track. Not quite sure who is involved in that incident.
Well, that tire strategy of pitting really early, that was probably the perfect time to do it, potentially, as that might feed into their hands coming down early. We didn't know that there was going to be a caution coming out, but obviously they have some sort of mystic mind in the back of their heads saying, pit this time, there's going to be a caution coming out soon, and sure enough.
Yeah, good playing, possibly great strategizing from the boys, and now we're going to restack everything. Garrett, take control of the radio for a second. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. As it looks like we have some more vehicles coming down pit road. That's going to be the 51. And he's going to come down pit road and potentially grab some tires, I believe. I say that like it's a question. I don't mean to ask a question. No one's going to answer me. But, yeah, it looks like he's going to come down pit road, followed by a whole group behind him, as they are going to get everything dialed up. It looks like almost in the entirety of the field coming down pit road this time by. So it should certainly be interesting to see whether they come out. They should come out behind those two drivers we saw earlier who came down pit road. And they probably retain their lap as well due to coming down the lap before the caution coming out. So definitely strategy playing into their hands already, as I believe that was Below who came in earlier, and I'm not too sure of the other driver, but I know that someone else did. I think it might have been Paris coming down with him.
Yeah, it looks to me like, Garrett, it was Dennis Black, your current race leader, the number 88 machine, and Jeffrey Weimer in the 31. I believe are two drivers who have yet to come down pit road tonight. Other than that, most of the field came in on lap 21. A large portion may have only taken 2 tires on that stop, so not quite sure what we're going to see, but we say it every week here, cautions breed caution, so I think this could be exciting as we get the field bunched back up.
And I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you, James, not trying to tell you to pick favorites or anything like that, but which driver do you think is going to come out of the top of this one?
That's really tough, man. 23 laps in, we've got our first caution. I would keep an eye on somebody maybe about 20th or further back. The reason I say that, if Radke isn't able to get that big charge up front and finds himself kind of in the mix-up in the top 5, top 10, later on, those guys are likely to crash themselves out, I would think. So if I had to put a name in the hat, I'm going to pick Kent Picola Jr. in the 03 machine. He's currently 23rd on track, but up 12 spots from where he started. So definitely somebody you should keep an eye out. It's a 20th place back. There's a lot of big names here that I still think have a chance of bringing it home.
That's really great, great insight there. I know he's been burning it up, but I already like Below, sorry. Below? Is it Below?
Yeah,
it's Below, isn't
yeah,
it?
you got it right.
Below. I got it. Alright, awesome. Yeah, I love the way he was able to just make his way through the field without seeming to have to worry too much about whether he was going to make the move or not. He just sent it in deep and seemed to make it stick, so I have high hopes for him, as it looks like he went a lap down and took the lucky dog, so that early stop maybe not paying out as much as I thought it might have done.
Yeah, he's going to be starting, I believe, about the 33rd spot, so Let's see how accurate your predictions will be here of being able to slice through traffic, because oh my goodness, he's got a whole lot ahead of him. And now that lap 19 pit stop, I think Below only took 2 tires as well in the number 9, so gonna be interesting. That's not a spot I think I would want to be in coming up to a restart.
Well, I have faith. I reckon he'll be able to, if he shows the amount of speed that he had early on, towards the rear end of the race, I reckon he'll be able to make his way up there.
We'll have to keep an eye as that story develops, as we are gridded up, ready to go. It's Dennis Black on the front row, accompanied by Jeffrey Radke, who we know is fast. Jason Harrison, Rylan Fascinato, your second row. Stahl and Parks, your third row. Keep an eye on Radke as well. He only took 2 tires at most on that pit stop, but we know he had the pace. He had the entire field at a 2.5 second disadvantage during these opening 20 laps, so it's going to be interesting as we get ready to go green flag racing once more in Kentucky.
As you can see, Radke already taking a position away, taking the lead from Dennis, and Jason Ayerson also making that run stick, as well as Fascinato. That outside line not really working all that well at the moment, already slowing down a little bit as he goes down another spot to Stahl. And geez, are they going 4 wide? It almost looked like they were thinking about going 4 wide.
They're looking at it. That's Chad Ross way on the inside line, the 38. The 66 of Corey Stahl was squeezed in the middle while Dennis Black was on the high line. Now Dennis in that double 8 machine, a number that should be fairly close to their own heart here. And he's still up 30 positions, valuing the track position more than anything. So I've got to wonder, is he waiting on a big crash here? And maybe he'll be able to come and take his first pit stop a little bit after the field. He's got Chad Ross, Derek Fulton, Eric Parks all around him as we go 3 wide once more in Kentucky.
Absolutely insane racing at the moment, and it looks like it's all going to get sorted out. No ifs, buts or woes with most of the drivers, which is fantastic to see. Unfortunately, Dennis Blouch not having a good time of it during this restart, getting overtaken quite a bit. We hope to see him back up here in a little bit of time, as it looks like there's going to go 3 wide potentially again. This is unreal. This is absolutely crazy.
Absolute madness here at Kentucky. It's Fascinato, Radke, Ross, all within a very brief distance to each other. Chad Ross tries to work the outside line against Radke. This is allowing Fascinato to pull away ever so slightly, but now the field's stacking up behind him with the likes of Derek Fulton, John Mullahan, Jason Harrison, David Stryker. The gang's all here as we are seeing some gutsy moves as we go 3 wide once more. Parks, Fulton, Split, Jeffrey Radke moving up towards the top. And speaking of the top, Chad Ross in the 38 special putting the hammer down on Rylan Fascinato, but we're going to interrupt that party once more as we have yet another caution. Trying to get a look here at who that may have been. Not showing on our crash software. If I had to take a wedger, we're looking at Jeremy Paris, who somehow triggered the... What happened here? I'll be honest, Garrett, not really sure who wadded that one up.
Yeah, I couldn't really see from the from even the timing software seemed to be struggling with that one for a little bit there. So potentially, yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm not sure. There seem to be a whole lot of cars in a whole lot of places. So
yeah, very interesting. I'm right there with you. I'm looking, and we see 3 wide. We're looking at Steven Ayers in the 62 is the orange truck just ahead of him. I think that was somebody who may be involved in this party. I think your guess may be as good as mine.
I mean, you know, if You can't find it, you can't find it. I'm showing as Christopher Carter and Dennis Blouch both in the pit lane, so I don't know if that's anything to go by, potential damage or not, as well as Michael Brisson and Mark McFadden, followed by Bar. Okay, I'm just gonna. There's a lot coming down pit road.
Yes, I mean, a large portion. I think it's about 23rd place, 24th place, all the way back is Taryn DeFelice, Mike Wood, Jeremy Paris, David Nance. No, excuse me, Nance appears to be out of the race so far. So 3 drivers coming a little bit earlier than the rest of the field, trying to maybe get a lap back here as we see the lucky dog lying around your race leaders. So as we're on our second caution of the evening, it's going to be Rylan Fascinato, Chad Ross, Eric Parks, Derek Fulton, John Mullahan, your top 5, and a race where there may be limited amounts of tires for this event. Not a lot of taking it easy that we're seeing from these guys.
No, it looks like everyone is vying very hard for track position, and you know, one thing that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot is the lucky dog position. Now, I know the lucky dog is very important, as when first car a lap down can make his way back onto the lead lap, starting at the tail end of the longest line. But also, it's I find it sometimes quite hard to navigate around the leaders if you're a little ways back in the pack and you get the lucky dog. You've really got to communicate on driver radio, because sometimes the leaders don't go down the racetrack for you, and you never know, sometimes you can actually fall into a little bit of drama with rubbing the side of some of the leaders if they don't quite hear the call for the lucky dog coming around the outside.
Yeah, a little bit of communication goes a long way. And so far things are going well. No ARCA brakes in effect, but it may be a long night for the boys, as this is our second caution of the night, only 16 laps in. And we only got maybe 4 or 5 green flag laps out of that last time by, and we've already dwindled down the field. Looks like David Nance is out of the race. He was out on lap 10, I believe. Richard Jones did not start, but you've got McCullough, Wood, Kaufman, Paris, who've been coming down pit road as much as they possibly can to get some repairs done. So maybe my pick for the night, not doing so great, as he's running 32nd. Down below, he's moved up to 24th in the middle of this fray, but looks like he's got about 20 drivers in front of him who have not come down pit road since lap 21. So I'm going to be very interested to see how the strategy works out.
Well, strategy, as well as, you know, my mystic powers of saying how great John Below is, so I'm sure he'll prove me right.
Hopefully so, as Fascinato Ross will be on the front row, Parks and Fulton your second row. I'm going to be interested. Will we get a good clean start? I don't see anybody inside the top 10 that has taken what it looks to me like a 4-tire stop. Maybe William Price, as he sits in 9th in the 34 Chevrolet. So let's see, get him grid up, get ready behind our iRacing safety car, and we'll try this once more here in Kentucky.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Ryan Fascinato, Chad Ross, your 1 and 2, Derek Fulton and Eric Parks, 3 and 4, and John Mullahan and Jeffrey Radke is going to be 5 and 6 in your first 3 rows, as we await the pace car to make the hard left turn here at Kentucky.
Second caution of the night, only 30 laps in. The boys are going to have a long night to go if this is going to be any indicator on how things will be happening. Now, originally tonight was scheduled for Bristol, but after a dismal performance at Martinsville last week, the track lineup got changed, had to find an alternative location. So hopefully here in Kentucky things will start to clean out. We'll see some green flag runs, and thankfully we don't have 37 trucks at Bristol, or I think that pace car would get even more mileage put on it.
Yeah, we have Joseph Penn joining us, saying lots of aggressive driving, 35 lap race. They need to be watching out for that, as we've already got a potential 3 wide again early on, and we also have a message from Sally Hammond telling me that I'm pronouncing things wrong, so I will try my best.
Yeah, that's McFadden. Don't worry, I messed that one up a few times as well when I first started covering the FEG PC Monday night action. Up front, Fascinato with a big half-second lead, getting chased by Eric Parks, Ross, and Fulton, putting on a show for that third-place spot. But here comes John Mullahan as well, as Radke watches on from behind these Titans to see how things are going to shape up inside that top 5 before he starts making big moves. It looks like Parks, oh really everybody's starting to catch back up to Fascinato. I think that was Mullahan hopped out of the group there to try something different as we go side by side for the race lead. Fascinato, Parks putting on a show.
Yeah, Parks looks like he has a great drive off turn 4, really coming into turn 1 with a buttload of speed, as it looks like Fascinato is going to have to give him the spot and slide just in front of Ross. Ross not having it though. Ross wanting to keep side by side, wanting to take that spot away as well, get himself up into second. So, oh, it's looking very close together. Ross definitely not wanting Fascinato to come back down and cut off the nose of that number 38 car truck.
Yeah, looks like Ross not going to get bullied around here with Fascinato, but here comes Garrett to lend his support to Fascinato, maybe to get that line going, but Ross once more very defensive on the inside line, and now he's got John Mullahan, who I thought was going to link up with him, but no, 3 wide once more as everybody tries to get sorted out. Now Eric Parks hopefully not looking in that rear view mirror out of the 73 machine, because might get a little bit tense there as once again they are weaving all across the track. Ross way down low. Fulton's going to try and return the favor on the inside line as Fascinato finds himself cycle back and forth just ahead of Mullahan.
Yeah, Fascinato got a little bit loose there, tapped the outside wall, so hopefully get that thing dialed in, keep his head in the game, and catch himself back up as well, as it looks like he goes a little bit wide on the outside, and that is going to allow Mullahan to probably take that position away, as we've still got a very tight battle up front here.
Yeah, 3 drivers within a half second. Parks, Ross, Fulton, your top 3, but just behind them, Mullahan and Fascinato not showing too much signs of slowing down. They are about a quarter of a second ahead of the rest of the field here and putting a little bit more gap each and every lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how long they can hold that pace.
Absolutely. As it's quite an interesting thing to see. I see that on the live timing we have Price. Now Price was the first truck we thought we saw coming in with four fresh tires, and he's been making his lap around, I believe, slightly faster than the leaders up here, so he should be able to catch them in not too long a time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right now they're still chugging forward. We're going to point the camera at Fascinato's 69 machine. You can see the name on the right side of that Chevrolet. He's about a half second ahead of David Stryker. So still looks like the top 5 keeping that momentum, and if we can get a long green flag run in, boy, is that a big if. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out as Parks, Ross, and Fulton, no sign of slowing down, continuously battling for the race lead. All of these drivers with about a 31.8, almost identical that last time by, and Ross and Fulton still battling hard for that second spot behind Eric Parks.
Yeah, Ross is having no love given to the other drivers on the inside line. He's very, very determined to keep that one, as Fulton just wants to send it around the outside in that Tundra. And it looks like he certainly has the pace to try and make it stick as he goes a little bit further up the track than he probably would like, but that's going to allow him to get quite the run down the outside, heading back into turn 1, sorry, that's my bad. And yeah, definitely looks like he has the pace to have a run at Ross here, but Ross is going to get some drive out with Parks just behind him, just in front of him, sorry. Park's defending like a madman up front. Doesn't know which way to go, left, right, all over the place.
Yeah, it looks like Parks in the 73 Ford F-150 trying to slow the pace down and keep both Fulton and Ross behind him. But both Fulton and Ross, some of the nicest guys you can talk to off the track. Once the visor goes down, it's a little bit of red mist in our driver's eyes. Things can get a little bit exciting when the heavy block starts to fly. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two Titans, how long they'll take that before the old front bumper might come into play here in Kentucky. And yeah, it's got to be a game of patience. We're only 44 laps in. We've got over 90 laps left to go here tonight. Still plenty of time to lot up some race cars. So the last thing you want to do is do it early on in the night and find yourself watching the show from the grandstand.
Yeah, absolutely. As definitely don't want to see these drivers wet up their cars early at all. As we see Parks and Fulton catching up to Parks. Parks definitely still trying to defend hard. Fulton giving him, looks like a little bit of a fake out, trying to go up high. Doesn't have the speed to make it happen. Ross is going to try and take advantage. I don't think he's going to have the run that he wanted to either to get that one dialed in and done for him, as he looks like he's going a little bit higher to try and get out of the back bumper of Fulton, as we've seen him run the low line the whole time so far. So not sure if that's going to work for him as well as the low line has been so far. But we'll have to wait and see if that truck can get dialed in as well as they want it to be, as it looks like with tire wear they are running slightly higher off the groove.
Yeah, I think as this run progresses, you're going to see some different lines being taken from the drivers. Maybe not necessarily knowing right off the bat what's the fastest way around, but they'll start exploring some different options. Try the low line, try the high line, see what feels faster to them. As you're right, these tires will still be degrading. I don't think any of these drivers in this top 3 took 4 tires. They're all in and out of their pit stalls in less than 11 seconds on their lap 21 pit cycle. And as you watch Chad Ross really go in deep here, I think he may be feeling the tire wear just a little bit worse than that 38. And it looks like the front of that truck wants to kind of push through the corners and not quite rotate what he's looking for. So Ross may be one of the first 3 drivers up front really facing the fatigue here.
Yeah, we see Parks and Fulton really going for one hell of a battle. Ross, it does look like he's fallen off the pace just ever so slightly, but maybe with a little bit of help he might be able to pull the front 2 back in, as Fulton and Parks continue to have this wild battle up front. Parks is blocking and just absolutely able to make his truck as wide as he possibly can. Fulton not happy to see the rear end of that truck over and over and over again. I'm sure he's looking to see the open track that he wants to see. I'm sure he'll be seeing it in fairly short order, as it looks like he is trying everything to get around Parks. But Parks doing a great job defending, I must say. It's very hard to defend, especially how wide this Kentucky Raceway is, and able to make it work, as lap traffic is something to contend with as well.
Yeah, that's going to be Michael Brisson in the number 71, who's going to very quickly go down a lap to your race leaders, but well done to him as well. He immediately recognized, hey, there's a big old race for the lead going on, and I'm not in it. So the last thing he wanted to do was get himself tied up with the race leaders, and that has allowed top 3 of Parks, Fulton, Ross to continue charging forward. It looked like that gave Parks a little bit of a break there from Fulton, as now it's about a quarter of a second separating the top 3 drivers. John below, Mike Wood comes back down pit road for a lap 51 stop. So very interesting to see. It looks like drivers that I would have thought would be staying out opting to come down pit road a little bit more often than was expected.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the lap times fall off very quickly here, so potentially just getting some new fresh rubber underneath them and trying to see if they can get anything to deal with, as we have a couple of trucks coming down pit road under green, a couple more that time by. So yeah, potentially we might see these leaders coming down in short order as well.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see how this strategy breaks out for the drivers. Who will be the first one to dive down pit road? As it looks like Chad Ross will be the first top three driver to come down on lap 53. So Parks and Fulton will soon follow. Now Fulton's gonna take the inside line against Ross. Against Parks. Side by side for the race lead, but Parks carries just a little bit more momentum, and Fulton will settle for second for a little while longer. How much longer can these guys hold out for? It's been 22 laps since their last pit stop, and still wide open here at Kentucky, and doesn't look like they're quite ready to come down pit road yet. They want some more laps led in the case of Eric Parks.
Yeah, and I'm sure Derek Fulton doesn't want to let that truck get out of his sights, so he's probably going to stick with Parks, I imagine, or try and maybe come down actually a lap earlier, but it looks like they're both going to stay out once again, so definitely things heating up here in a bit, as Jason McMahon reminds us from the spectator stands that there's going to be some pit strategy coming into play, as we can see that all over the field as we've got trucks coming in, going out, trucks staying out on the racetrack. There's just pandemonium going on at the moment as we continue to watch this epic battle between Derek Fulton and Eric Parks.
Yeah, these guys really letting it all hang out, and I think McMahon spot on the money there with his prediction. I mean, still less than 2/10 separating Parks and Fulton. This is the long green flag racing that we've come to know, to love, and to expect out of these drivers. And again, I'm curious to see who's going to be the first one to come down. We saw Chad Ross come in several laps prior. He'll be now scored 23rd, losing 20 spots on a green flag stop. But I believe Ross did take 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas, so going to be very interesting to see how long we can go, because so far we haven't seen any drivers run an entire fuel run at Kentucky. It's been short pit stops, staccato runs to change the party up, and right now they've got a little bit of traffic behind them, but Parks and Fulton still linked up. Now Fulton does have the advantage here, as he has been tucked in behind Parks. He'll be burning up just a little bit less fuel than number 73 machine, but I think he's trying to strike whenever the opportunity arises here.
Parks looking very desperate to hold on to that first place. Fulton almost gets him turned around as Parks looks like he's going to come down.
Yeah,
and
so
Fulton is going to get left led.
Yeah, Fulton stays out. Parks, Stryker, Price, Fascinato all coming in. Fulton's been out for about 37 laps now, so I think at this point we're seeing the limit of what some of these drivers can do as far as fuel runs. We will know for certain, because I don't think Fulton has any plans of coming down pit road. He continues to stretch the gap now over the rest of the field. He's got a 6.4 second advantage of Jimmy Kubinek. And look at that, Fulton comes down pit road.
Yeah, gets that truck slowed down. Hopefully didn't get any slowdown penalties on his way down, as we saw that truck really lock up, get loaded down. As we've got a race leader brand new in Christopher Carter taking over. He last pitted in lap 32, so he's going to be out for quite a while yet, as he's followed by Jay Dargett and Joe Coburn.
Yeah, now
the top
Carter
three now.
Gets the laps led. So Carter and Dargan came in on lap 32. Cogburn came in on 23. So, I mean, that means Carter should be good to go for, I believe, 9-10 more laps at the most. If what we're seeing from the previous race leaders is maybe an indicator on how things will go. So right now, Carter enjoying the limelight. He's got a little bit of damage on the side of that 25 machine. He's about to quickly get overtaken by John Mullahan, number 6. Mullahan, another driver that came in on lap 52, 20 laps later than Carter, and he will unlap himself here. So things rapidly changing, and now we're starting to see how this strategy might play out for the different drivers.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking this, what's going to happen here as Parks makes his way around as well to try and get back onto the lead lap himself. As I was going to say, I think Carter is going to try and stay out as long as he can and hope for a caution, and then that will really shake things up, as Jason McMahon reminds us that if the caution came out now, a lot of fast trucks would be trapped one lap down, so it would definitely shake up the standings quite a lot, as we've got John Barlow making his way back around as well.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting. You've got a mixed bag out in the lead lap. Everybody trying to do what they can, but different tire strategies coming into effect as we see Christopher Carter, your race leader, kind of getting the doors blown off that 25 Chevrolet as traffic starts to unlap itself. I am curious to see how this is going to work, but Carter, hey, he's got to be happy, up 22 spots, getting some laps led, but looks like it'll be his turn to come down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like he may have run out of gas here as he gets that truck slowed down, as the lead is going to be taken over by Pete Woodrum.
Yeah, Woodrum currently 2.2 seconds ahead of McFadden, number 5 Ford F-150, but look at that traffic behind your race leader. That is an absolute hornet's nest of trucks trying to unlap themselves, and Woodrum just holding on for the ride, enjoying the show, getting some laps led here in Kentucky, and gonna keep things charging forward, but it looks like McFadden very quickly closing the gap as he is now 1.8 seconds back from your race leader. But both Woodrum and McFadden came in a lap 30 together. It looks like Woodrum took 4 tires on that stop, and McFadden may have only taken 2 there, so there we go again, the tire strategy. It may be the name of the game here this evening as we are just about at the halfway mark.
Yeah, approaching that halfway very, very quickly, and it's always great to see long green flag runs and a lot of different strategy as we've seen. We won't have that caution coming out, it doesn't look like at the moment, so definitely not as much of a shake-up as we were thinking might just happen, but at the same time, it's looking like a very clean, very effective race for a lot of these drivers, and I'm sure that the drivers as well as the spectators are very appreciative of the fact that it's able to go green as much as it has. It looks like Pete is going to make his way down pit road, or was that just a very shallow entry? Nope, there he is. He's coming down pit road.
Let's see, does McFadden follow in the 5? Yes, he does, and look at that, Gareth, it's my pick of the evening. Ken McCullough Jr. going to get a lap led up 34 spots. He's going to only have about 2 laps left on fuel before we see the come out pit road as more and more drivers get the lead lap. 23 drivers now on the lead lap, and like McMahon was saying, a caution could have really shaken things up, so I think a lot of drivers are going to be pretty happy here to get through that green flag cycle as most of the field has completed that stop as, oh, your race leader goes 3 wide as McCullough gets ready to come down pit road, and I believe that's going to put Chad Ross as your race leader after he had a bit of an undercut.
Yeah, Chad Ross came down, I think, about 3 or 4 laps in front of, excuse me, it's going to be 5 or 6 laps in front of Derek Fulton and Eric Parks, so he's definitely trying out that undercut, see if it works, and typically I've seen in races past that the undercut does actually work quite a bit, so it should be interesting to see if this one can stay green as to how that will all cycle through in regards to how long the run is actually going to go for. But yeah, definitely clicking off some fast laps at the moment, just over the 32-second mark per lap at this Kentucky Speedway, so yeah, should be able to hold on to that lead for quite a bit longer, I imagine.
Yeah, I think Ross is looking good here. 1.3 seconds up over Derek Fulton in the 07 machine. And I think things are still going really well here. He's going to have to maybe hope things go green. I believe Ross took 4 tires on that lap 52 pit stop. Fulton, I believe, only took 2. But I think Fulton's going to keep the pressure on as well, because we cycle back a little bit further to the 07, our current fastest Canadian out on track. In the background, you can see the all-black 73 Ford F-150 of Eric Parks, who I guarantee you is not going to be slowing down here as he continues to charge back up towards the front.
We saw Parks earlier on with the huge amount of defense that he had going on, so I'm sure he wants to get back up the front there and show us his defending skills once again. as it looks like he is going to continue to make his way around quite quickly. I believe his last lap was actually slightly faster. Yes, it was. Than both Derek Fulton and Chad Ross. So interesting to see if he can catch up to both of them.
Yeah, right now, I think that's happening, my friend. Derek Fulton on the back of the 38, Chad Ross. We're going to have a race for the lead here as Fulton looks down the inside line, but what's this? We've got traffic in the mix of the party here tonight. I think that may be, no, I'm not quite sure who that is interjecting themselves into the party, trying to unlap themselves. Is that Dennis Black, maybe, the 88? Yes, it is.
Yeah, and he looks like he's trying to get his lap back as well. So, yeah, looking like he's going to be able to do that, as Fulton, I'm sure, wants to not get involved in anything with the lap down driver at all. As we saw him up earlier on, so we expect him to, after making his way around, obviously getting a late stop in, that he's going to join us back up towards the front, as we've got Parks and Ross going just next to each other now. It's Ross's turn to try and keep Parks behind him. Not quite able to do it though. Parks saying, hey, you're not the Minister of Defense, I am. So there he goes around the front into second spot.
Yeah, Fulton has very quickly pulled a 1 second gap. Parks moving on up. Now Chad Ross, I think, maybe fighting the tires or maybe saving a little bit here. He's got 5-lap older tires than either Fulton or Parks. Currently leading this shindig, but let's pan the camera back to Derek Fulton, who's going to have his hands full with traffic from, I want to say, from here on out. That's the number 27 machine going high of Craig Lewis, knowing, hey, here comes the race leader. Let's make way as quick as we can, but Fulton's going to have to cut through a whole lot of traffic here as we are at the halfway mark of the evening.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how traffic respects our leader, as they will try and stay, I'm sure, in front of the leader, if nothing else but for a little bit of pride. I find myself getting caught up in that sometimes, I have to admit. So, yeah, it should be interesting, especially with Parks. Now, usually when the leader passes lap traffic, lap traffic is a little bit harsher on the leader than it is to second place vehicles. So we should be able to see Parks potentially make his way around traffic a little bit easier. I say that, but it looked like Parks had to do some maneuvering just in the background of shot there, as we saw him try and get around as well.
Yeah, traffic, I mean, they're doing their best to hop out of the way, but some of these guys coming out with much fresher tires and able to keep that momentum, as I think you're right. Parks has his hands full with that traffic. Now he's keeping Chad Ross at bay by about a second, but Derek Fulton has extended the gap to 1.6 seconds out front. Just having no worries, no issues here so far.
Yeah, it looks like Fulton is just making his way. I was going to say making his way downtown. Yeah, no, it looks like he's making his way around the track relatively smoothly, and that's the main thing, I think, is smoothness, because you get to have these tires last quite a bit longer than they otherwise would do, and it's good to see him not having too many problems. It looks like he's able to consistently get around about the same sort of lap times, and consistently looks like his entry and exit are pretty much on point every lap. So that will definitely help him in the long run as we continue to go green flags.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see how this works. Let's go a little bit further back, and your pick of the night, John Below, has moved back up in that number 9 machine, now 6th on track. He's getting chased by Jeffrey Radke, who was a front runner that's kind of finding himself falling back here a little bit, but I think that top 5 is still in the cards for Below, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to work the traffic. Now Adam Shane comes down pit road for a green flag stop.
Yeah, I love to see the enthusiasm in just the way that Below is driving. You can tell he knows that he's got a top 5 car underneath him, top 5 truck underneath him, so he should be able to get this one in. And I have no doubts at all that he'll be able to make his way up to exactly where he wants to be, as it looks like, is that going to be David Stryker in front of him? I believe so.
Yeah, that's Stryker, the 24 Ford F-150. He's about 1.3 seconds ahead of below, and looks like Stryker's starting to pull up to Mullahan as well. Just about, well, it's caught about 3/10 now as Radke comes down pit road, and Stryker's going to continue charging towards the front behind the almost fluorescent green number 6 machine and trying to work his 24 a little bit further up inside the top 5.
Yeah, Mullahan's truck incredibly easy to spot amongst this field, which is always something very handy for both the spectators and the commentators alike. As they go 3 wide around lap traffic, it's going to be quite interesting. Thankfully, they get it dialed in. No ifs, buts, or woes, but Stryker definitely looking like he wanted to pass Mullahan there, but deciding probably better of it, not wanting to get his truck wrecked up, as we're still got a little bit to go in this one.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, spot on. You've got, what, 60, I'm not good at math, 50 laps left to go in this main event. At least one more green flag stop in the cards, barring any cautions. And, I mean, right now, Fulton, your race leader, a 2.4 second advantage, but a whole lot of traffic to wiggle his way through and kind of take it easy here. Not wanting to make too much of a risky move, as it would be a very quick way to find yourself with a ruined racetrack. That's the last thing your race leader wants to see here as we start winding down the proverbial backstretch of the race for tonight.
Yeah, Derek Fulton still making his way, still a long way ahead, I should say, of Eric Parks behind, over 2.5 seconds. So he's making his way through traffic quite well, I have to say, and it looks like he's able to get that truck exactly where he wants it to be. I was mentioning smoothness earlier on, and I do believe that's the exact same line we saw him do around that corner that we saw him do plenty of times before. So his entry into 3 and 4 and the way he can maintain speed around, definitely indicative of someone who's been able to save their tire wear. So I think he's definitely got something figured out that some of the other drivers may have to look out for themselves if they want to have long green flag runs without stops.
Yeah, Fulton, I mean, you're right. He's in such a good spot here. He's got clean track, relatively clean track in front of him. He's got a 2.5 second buffer behind him, and kind of gets to go into a little bit of tire and fuel saving mode here, using that traffic to push the air away from the 07. And now Chad Ross in the 38, who was running third, he comes down pit road once more for a green flag stop. He's got 50 laps left to go, so I would imagine we're going to see one more stop as, oh boy, Fulton finds himself in the middle, 3 wide of traffic once more.
Yeah, great job of these trucks just getting off pit road, so I'm sure they're going to be coming in fast, and it looks very chaotic already. Fulton does not want to see what's going on in the rearview mirror of his truck at the moment, as he's just going to pull up and I'm sure let them go by on the inside. That was very chaotic. Not something you wanted to see at all. Very stressful situation for our leader to be in, but he's able to keep that truck underneath him and keep his way around the racetrack relatively lean and intact.
I mean, step by there. Yeah, Fulton's a very smart driver. He knows, as of right now, depending on how this strategy is going to pan out, we'd have to talk to some of the crew chiefs to maybe get an idea, because we're flying blind up here in the booth, so to speak. But I think Fulton in a good spot, knowing, all right, let's not risk the truck, let's keep some forward momentum. He's keeping an eye, talking to his crew chief, knowing Parks is actually losing time behind him, because as bad as the traffic is for your race leader right now, everybody behind him is going to have to go through the same situation. As it almost looked like Fulton was getting set up for a pit stop there. I wonder if he's clutching it and doing even more fuel saving.
Yeah, he might be just doing the calculations that we're not entirely familiar with, but looks like that he's probably doing the calculations in his head and saying, oh, maybe I could just get 1 or 2 more laps out of this one. Should be able to make it to the end, no problems, even if we have a green-white check-in towards the end there.
Yeah, as we're listening on board Fulton, going into turn 3, he's heavy on the clutch, trying to save as much fuel as he possibly can, so I think that's exactly it, as he's still gaining time on Parks. And I'm very impressed. So far, it looks like the plan's working well, but I'm very intrigued to see how this strategy is going to go, because Christopher Carter in 5th place, about to move up to 4th. He came down pit road 4 laps later than your race leader. Carter came in on lap 62. Fulton came in on lap 58. I have no idea what we're going to see on strategy tonight.
Yeah, you know, it's funny with a lot of the strategies that get played out in races like this with long green flag runs. It's very difficult to figure out which strategy is going to be the best strategy as it plays out until you actually see the end of the race, more or less. I'd say it's incredibly difficult to see whose strategy is actually going to pay off the most, and you never really know, but so far I'm sure Fulton is looking to come in, and there he goes. Looks like he's going to take the stop that we all expected.
Yeah, Fulton down pit road. Looks like Stryker is going to follow him, and then number 24. But we were just talking about him. That's going to be Christopher Carter as your race leader here. And now Carter will have traffic to fend off, as things have been frantic all across the track here tonight. Clean track has been, I would say, darn near impossible to find for most of the evening, as everybody's still bobbing and weaving around here.
Yeah, it's really interesting with the amount of close racing that we have seen, and the amount of, wow, that was close, between your race leader and that lap car just behind him. As it looks like, yeah, it looks like the racing has been incredibly interesting with 3 wides all over the place, but we've been able to keep this thing green. So fantastic job of the drivers. Can't stress enough how difficult that is, and how much we applaud them for being able to keep their trucks clean.
Yeah, Dennis Black has moved up to 2nd. Kevin McCullough Jr. 3rd. McCullough, he came in on lap 66 for his fuel stop. So I think in the next 10 laps, anybody that pits around lap 98 to 102 should be good to go on fuel, barring any crazy fuel saving. As Derek Fulton with his lap 90 stop, that's a long way, 45 laps he's going to have to make it on fuel. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think right now your top 5, Carter, Black, McCullough, Weimer, McFadden, in a good spot here as far as strategy goes. If anything, Carter may find himself having to fuel save a little bit, as he's got anywhere between a 1 to 3 lap disadvantage compared to the field right behind them. So I think these guys are going to be very tight on fuel as we keep this thing rocking and rolling.
I mean, that is subject to any more cautions that we may see in the future. Obviously, we don't pray for them, but that you never know as the race winds down. But it's been fairly clean so far, so I definitely wouldn't bank on it if I was one of these drivers. As Carter looks like he's coming down now, a little bit earlier. Yeah,
Carter looks like 32 laps is all he was able to do on fuel before he realized that, oh no, we need to get some things going here as far as strategy. We've got Abby tuned in tonight. She's cheering on the 66 machine. I believe that's Corey Stahl. Yes, it is. He is 14th on track, down 9 spots from where he started, but things are still ever changing here as Dennis Black will get some laps led. And I don't know, Garrett. I'm intrigued, because right now Black up 33 spots, as well as Kenneth McCullough Jr. and Jeffrey Weimer, all up 33 spots. And now Dennis Block comes down pit road, and McCullough will stay out.
And yeah, I was going to mention that your pick for the win. Here he comes. He's leading again. I bet you must be so proud. I almost feel like a proud father whenever someone I picked ends up being on the TV. I'm like, oh my god, look at him. It's great to see these drivers making their way around really well, and he's made his way up 34 spots since the start. Obviously, he's leading at the moment, and strategy plays a big role in the position that he's in at the moment. But still amazing work to see as we got Fulton making his way back around, and he's up into second spot. He looks like he's actually going to pass Kenneth McCullough, and under green conditions before McCullough can even make a pit stop. So strategy coming into play big time as he goes 3 wide to make that one work.
Fulton, McCullough, and traffic going 3 wide. Fulton with almost 24-lap newer tires, able to facilitate the pass, do so quite quickly against McCullough. McCullough sees that and goes, all right, now's a good time to go down pit road. James Coffin, the 41 machine, looked like he was going to get a lap back until Fulton blazed right on by. So now Fulton, the question is, how long can he go on fuel? He would need to stretch it out 45 laps, an extremely long time. I think about 35 laps is the longest run we've seen out of the drivers. So Fulton's going to try and put all of the field at least a lap down. And just, I think this is going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am very excited for it.
As am I. This this is going to work out to be quite the strategy on Fulton's part as well. Now, I'm not sure, as you mentioned earlier, I'm not sure he's going to be able to save that much fuel, but I guess you never really know. He does have a lot of traffic in front of him, so if maybe he can just, I mean, it depends how he's feeling. He might want to just show them who's boss and goes round. It looks like he's going to do just that. Or he could target just stay in behind a couple of the drivers in front and save some fuel. But it looks like he's not thinking. He's probably thinking he won't be able to save 5 laps of fuel, as that is quite the tall task indeed. So he's definitely going to. As we've got a car almost going round. There he goes.
This? Who was that?
What a save!
Is that traffic?
That was traffic. That was just behind.
I'm looking at Rylan Fascinato right now. He's behind. I'm not quite sure who that was, but oh man, the save of the day right there.
Just the Chevrolet just out of shot. Chevrolet just out of shot, just in the back of shot now. The grayed out truck. I can't see who that is at the moment, but yeah, fantastic save from him. I honestly was banking on a caution just then, but it didn't happen. So fantastic stuff from that driver there to keep that truck underneath him. As we continue to watch Fulton just make his way around, just absolutely munching up the miles.
Yeah, he's rocking and rolling, no worries there. Can't believe we didn't have that caution come out, but well done to these drivers. We had 2 early cautions 30 laps in, and so far things are going well as we see the 34 of William Price trying to unlap himself against Fulton's 07 machine. Again, the $1 million question, the race winning question. How long can Fulton go on fuel? He's got a 4.7 second advantage over Chad Ross, and I think Ross is in really fuel saving mode here, losing 4/10 per lap to your race leader, but I think Fulton's still going to be about 5 laps short.
Well, let's not forget, James, that Ross is actually on a very different strategy to Fulton, as he came down about 7 laps ahead in the first pit stop cycle, and the last pit stop cycle around about the same. So he's probably looking like he has to go another lap in the pit lane. So he's probably already confined to his fate, as Fulton can probably decide which one he wants to do.
Yeah, I think this is going to be very intriguing. Fulton, no sign of slowing down. I think what's going to happen here is Fulton going to keep the pace wide open for as long as he can, and maybe hope for a caution to put some fast guys a lap down, because he's got 30 laps left to go. He's been on track for 15. His lap time's not affecting him too badly as of yet. So I think he's looking good here, but again, the question is, will A, he be able to make it on fuel on his own accord, or will we maybe see that late race caution throw a wrench in the plans and allow him to maybe save the evening?
Yeah, it should be, I believe if we go green, I think Ross actually has the best strategy if we go green for the rest of this one. Unless Fulton and Park decide to pit slightly early, but then as you said, if a caution comes out, then they're kind of stuck in this one. This is a real head turner. I'm not too sure of how this one's gonna pan out, as no one is, of course. This is the way that it goes when you're broadcasting live racing, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be interesting, as the lap times are still almost the same as when they were just coming out of pit road. So definitely keeping the pace up and not saving fuel at all, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Fulton, no sign of slowing down. It looks like Parks has got back on the gas a little bit, but no, you can listen to Fulton through 3 and 4. He is clutch in, coasting around the raceway here, but that is a long time to be trying to save fuel over the duration of a run. So I don't know. I think if Fulton does have to come down pit road, he's going to be in big trouble here. I'm looking back through the field. I think David Stryker also came in on lap 90. I don't know if there's a choice besides maybe Kent McCullough Jr., who's running 14th, 1 lap down in the 03. He may be able to make something happen if that's a lot of drivers in front of him that he would have to count on to need fuel before he can see himself in the top spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd like to point out here now. Let me take my opportunity to give my own shout out to John Ballou, sorry. He's already up to 4th, and my darling that I picked early on, looking like he's able to make his way through the field quite quickly as well, and he last came down a little bit earlier than any of these leaders in front of him, so sitting in 4th place should be able to potentially come down a little bit earlier. And if all the leaders can't make it on fuel strategy, look for him to potentially make a big move towards the finish of this one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be very, very interesting. Wally Babbs come down pit road in lap 106. Roger Hale rolled out, and now Wally Babbs rolling out as well. 25 laps left to go, and I still don't know what's going to happen. We go a little bit further back, John Below. You're right, he's caught back up to Chad Ross as well, and he's going to be 2 laps on 2 lap older tires than Ross, but maybe not as much fuel saving that we're seeing.
Yeah, I certainly think that he's going to be a force to reckon with. I called it early on in the race, and pretty glad about that, as we saw a lot of vehicles very, very close together, just ahead of Ross and Ballou. So, man, I'm going to struggle with his name all night, even though I picked him. But yeah, as we've got Parks has come down pit road. Already he's decided that he wants to change it up, because he probably thinks that nope, he's not going to make it, so he comes down from the 2nd spot, looking like he's going to make an interesting strategy choice here.
Yeah, Mullahan also followed him, as well as Stephen Page. Fulton, Ross below staying out, but Derek Fulton, your race leader, has almost a 10-second gap over Chad Ross. Ross is going to be 6 laps shorter on fuel than Fulton here, so I think he's fuel saving like nobody's business, but with 23 laps left to go, there could be some dark horses towards the back of the pack that are going to be able to hold it wide all the way around and keep things rocking and rolling here.
Yeah, and with the fact that there was an early pit stop there, I wonder by Parks, I wonder if Ross and Fulton are looking at that and saying, oh well, if Parks has come down, we might have to come too. As Ross, there we go, he's come down as well.
Yeah, so it looks like Fulton and Below staying out. I think this is that strategy we're talking about, maybe just really hoping the caution comes out, because I can't imagine, after how much fuel saving we saw from Chad Ross, that these drivers will be able to go all the way out to the end.
No, I can't imagine it, but I guess you never know. I mean, I've been surprised before, so it could be, it could be very interesting to see if Fulton can actually hold on to this one. But I expect to see him come down pit road on final time in just a little bit here. In terms of pace is concerned, he's only fallen about a second or so off of the main pace. So even on those tires that have been rocking and rolling for quite a long while under a lot of pressure, I guess it is the smoothness that I've been talking about all night long that he's really able to make that one work, and we might see him in victory lane potentially as well.
Yeah, as you say that, John Below comes down pit road in second place, and Fulton continues to stretch it out. So surely this must be indicative that there's no way he's going to be able to go 20 more laps on fuel. He's just about 2 seconds off his fastest laps of the race. So what's the move here, Gareth? Is he hoping for a strategy or a strategy to work out in his favor with a caution, or what do you think's going on in Fulton's helmet right now?
I'm going to take a shot and say that I think Fulton I think he might be in a slight indecisive mindset at the moment, where he's thinking of, a lot of the trucks behind me have pitted in, but I don't really know if I should pit in because I've already got the race lead. Here he comes. He's coming down pit road. I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, so Fulton for the final time tonight. Go ahead, I'm sorry. You might have saw something I didn't.
Oh, I just saw him almost wadded up coming down pit road. Looked like he got very loose trying to get that truck slowed down. So I was just about to make a remark that it was very close to becoming an accident as we almost lost our race leader.
Yeah, so David Stryker actually followed him down pit road in second place. Let's see what Carter's going to do here in the 25 machine. He opts to stay out. He will take over the race lead here.
Yeah, leapfrogging had been in effect for sure with Christopher Carter and Derek Fulton, as we see Fulton already made his way out. So I think he just took 2 tires from the look of it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. Carter, the number 25 machine. Kubanek in the number 21 was in the second. Dennis Black moves up to third. But look at that. Now Carter's coming down pit road. What is happening here? So it looks to me, if I can predict the future, as we see Carter come down pit road, Kubanek gets a lap led. Dennis Black will get scored in second, but going to be quickly overtaken by Derek Fulton. Fulton comes back out. I think he'll be the race leader here with 17 laps left to go and enough fuel to make it all the way out to the end.
Yeah, definitely strategy has played into his hand, absolutely. As we've seen a new fastest lap on track, John Ballou making that truck work for him absolutely crazy, like with a 30.76, so absolute rocket ship around Kentucky Speedway here tonight.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's John Below just clicking on a 30.76. That's about a quarter of a second faster than anybody's been able to do so far tonight. Is now Parks moves up into second as well, so the gang's all here. So I'm curious to see now. Fulton has a good advantage here. I believe he only took 2 tires on lap 117 pit stop. John Below, I believe, took 4 tires as well. Dennis Black on his lap 95 pit stop, I think, took 4 tires as well. So I'm going to be interested to see here who's got the pace. Keep an eye on that number 9 machine running 5th out on track, as he should have some of the freshest full set of tires out there, but will he have enough laps left in the evening to make use of it?
Yeah, with 15 to go, and he is around about 10 seconds back from the leader or so, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to take the lead, but it looks like he might be actually having a go. Is that Molahan behind him, or is that Chad Ross that he's looking like he's around? He's definitely around someone in a close battle.
Yeah, that's Chad Ross with John Below right behind him. He's got a little bit of traffic mixed in there. That's the number 69 machine of Rylan Fascinato, who's running a lap down after a green flag stop. So Ross keeping his hands full, wants to keep below behind him, but gonna be tough to do here, as I think that number 9 machine have a little bit fresher tires underneath them, and we've seen that number 9 Chevrolet be quick all evening long, but right now the story's gotta be Derek Fulton, a 4.3 second advantage, 13 laps left to go. His nearest competitor also on the same tire strategy with 6 laps older tires. That's of course Eric Parks and the 73 Ford F-150. So if we can stay green, a big if, because earlier we were thinking Fulton needed a caution, it could be his show to bring home a win here.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt it for a second. I think barring any cautions coming out, I think Fulton may have worked out something that we weren't expecting. And I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Dennis Black. Now, that driver still hanging on into 3rd place. He's been having a tough time of it, but he's been on a different strategy to everyone else. Looks like he's going to try and fuel save to the end of this run. So it should be quite interesting to see if he can hold on to that third spot, but it doesn't look like he will be able to, as Baloo has just blown the doors off of that one. So yeah, our top 3 running I don't think is going to change a whole lot, with the fact that they're all about 5 seconds apart from each other, barring any cautions of course, as we've got 10 laps to go in this one with Fulton still in the lead.
Yeah, Fulton looking good here. We can go a little bit further back to Chad Ross, who's got pressure from Dennis Black's number 88 machine. Got to give Dennis credit, just as you're saying, up 29 positions so far tonight. Definitely got to be our hard charger out here in Kentucky. No sign of slowing down. It's been a pretty long one for the boys. We've been live for about an hour and 25 minutes, and just those 2 early cautions keeping things rocking and rolling. Very impressed to see the green flag racing here tonight, as we see the 34 of trying to see who that may be hopping out of the group. That's William Price trying to avoid traffic. And Ross is going to keep it forward, as now unfortunately Dennis Black comes down pit road for what could be the final time for a green flag stop.
Yeah, absolutely. As we still see Fulton out front, and shame that we couldn't see Black make it all the way. He definitely tried his hardest to save as much fuel as he could, but 8 laps to go, not quite able to make it stick. So Fulton definitely still making his way around, and gotta watch out for lap traffic as well. I can't stress enough just how much he's going to want this lap traffic to move out of his way, so that he can keep his truck nice and clean towards the end of the finish one.
Yeah, things looking good here for Fulton. No sign of slowing down, but right now he's got to be apprehensive with all that traffic around him, parting like Moses to slice his way through traffic. The absolute last thing that 7 machine wants right now is more 3-wide shenanigans. If you say it, it'll happen, as Fulton goes 3 wide once more with traffic working his way through it. 6 laps left to go as he crosses the line. A 7.5 second advantage over Aaron Parks. A 10.7 second advantage over John Below. And right now, things are looking good. Fulton just hoping for some clean track, doesn't want to slow down the pace, and just wants to keep charging forward in that 07 machine. Right now, Fulton rocking, still 8 seconds ahead. We're going to pan back to Eric Parks. 8 seconds behind your race leader. He's 3 seconds ahead of John Below. And again, things are looking good. 5 laps left to go. Will we see a late race caution throw a wrench in the plans of Derek Fulton? Hands down the fastest Canadian out on track in his Toyota Tundra. And again, looks like things looking pretty clean ahead of them. As we cycle a little, let's go forward back up to Derek Fulton. Let's go on board with your race leader. working the throttle, getting that car to rotate, trying to work his way around the number 17 machine of Mike Wood. Mike will do his best to let that pass happen as quickly as he can as Mike goes wide, allowing Derek Fulton along the inside line. And Fulton has stretched his legs to 8.6 seconds ahead of Parks now. Hill, the fast Canadian, charging around here. And keeping it rocking and rolling. It's Fulton, Parks below your top three. Ross, Ayrson rounding out the top five compared to what we saw last week at Martinsville. This is the long green flag runs we've been hoping for out of our competitors. A race that started off a little bit rough, quickly turned into a bit of strategizing amongst some good old-fashioned talented racers out here in Kentucky. 2 laps left to go for Derek Fulton. As Eric Parks holds off John Below with a 2.8 second advantage, I think we are good to see these top 5 drivers make it under fuel at this point. Everybody made their strategy calls early on, and for better or worse, this is what we've got left. As this time by, the white flag will fly for Derek Fulton. The Tundra looking good here, charging forward as he makes his way through NASCAR's 1 and 2 for the final time. Fulton makes his way through 3 and 4 for the final time. And just like that, Derek Fulton brings it home here at Kentucky at the FEG PC Oval Series. And what a great race amongst these guys. So Gareth, we ran it back and things are looking good. Derek Fulton brings home the win here at Kentucky.
Fantastic run from him. As look at him burning it down. Absolutely fantastic to see him having a great celebration, and one well deserved as well. What a great race from all these drivers.
Yeah, very good to see these guys were looking nice and easy and no problems at all, as we're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up here into the waiting room. What great racing amongst the guys here tonight, as Derek Fulton's got to be ecstatic bringing home the top spot. I mean, really all these guys did such a good job.
Oh, absolutely. No one can question that at all. Fantastic green flag racing from all the drivers.
So Gareth, I will start bringing the guys up here into victory lane. We'll take turns on some questionings. I'll start first, and we'll see what the drivers have to say after tonight, as we had some of the best racing. Up first, we're going to have John Below in the number 9 Chevrolet. John, welcome back. It's becoming more and more familiar to see you up here, up in our podium room.
Yeah, man, it's always good to finish up front, but we didn't have anything. We missed it on strategy this week. Derek nailed all of the strategy, so I got to give a shout out to him. He did a great job tonight. I had nothing for him. We didn't get any cautions.
Now, John, we saw you absolutely rocket through the field early on, and from about caution 1, I picked you to win this thing. You got very close. Was strategy a big play in you finishing in the top 3 tonight?
Yeah, it just wasn't good enough. It was just good enough to finish where we did, and we should have stayed out a little bit longer. That seemed to be the play. It was go as long as possible and run it dry, and that's pretty much what the guys in front of me did. And I just was hoping for a caution there late. I had another set of tires laying that if it would have been a caution with 15 to go, we could have really rocketed up through the field, but it is what it is. It's a tough one to swallow. You hate losing. You hate running second. You hate running third. I mean, I'm here to win races, and that wasn't it tonight.
John, my final question for you, my friend. I mean, we saw those 2 early cautions. Do you think that kind of played into the factor of everybody struggling to find strategy midway through, or were you guys kind of accounting for a little bit more yellow flags after the bloodbath we saw last week at Martinsville?
Yeah, the first caution didn't help at all. The second one was, it wasn't a big deal, but the first one definitely didn't help because it got me put back into the back. I lost all track position. I had a strategy to pit on lap either 15 to 20, not take tires, go stretch it all the way, and then take tires the rest of the way. And it just didn't work out. It's just one of them deals. When you make the call to come down pit road, cautions can come out, screw the whole strategy up. I almost beat the leader off pit road. It'd been nice. I would have cycled in front of him, but just wasn't our night. It's all good. A top 3, we'll take it. Got to thank everybody over at Mike Wood Racing. With Jeremy and Mike and Justin. They help coach me through, try to keep my head up. Because like I said, man, I'm not here to run third.
Well, still a great night, John. Always good having you up here. Relatively clean race truck, and hope to see you with that continued success in the near future.
Yeah, man. Thank you for everything y'all do. Y'all put on a great show.
Thank you, my friend. That was John Below bringing home the second place spot. Up next, we got Eric Parks. A hard-fought second. Eric, looked like you were up front and making some big moves throughout the race here tonight at Kentucky.
Yeah, man. How you doing, James?
I'm well. I'm accompanied by Gareth. We enjoyed watching you guys race tonight, and it looked like it was pretty clean all the way around, all things considered, after about the lap 30 mark.
Yeah, man. That was a fun race. Good, clean racing out there tonight.
Yeah, Eric, I have to ask you. Throughout the race, I ended up calling you the Minister of Defense. You were blocking like I've never seen blocks so good before in my life. How much have you practiced blocking before, or were you just doing it on a whim?
Well, I could just tell that one run when I had Fulton behind me, I was trying to break his runs on the top, but he was the best car out there tonight. I'll give credits to him. He had a good running truck tonight, so he deserved that win.
Well, Eric, good, well said. Good to see some camaraderie. Now, we kind of threw everybody a curveball, switching from what was planned to be Bristol to Kentucky. Do you think that was a good move on behalf of all the racers, or were you a little bummed you weren't riding the Coliseum tonight?
Well, I like Bristol, but I can't say I'm bummed since I'm on the podium tonight, so I'm good with Kentucky.
Well, Eric, great
All
time
right.
talking to you as always, my friend. Who do you want to give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors that helped you get out here.
Yeah, I want to thank the good Lord for giving us the opportunities and the freedoms to do this on nights like this, as our hearts go out to those Ukraine folks. And I want to thank my Team 3 because, well, I've got a great group of guys. We get together and practice, and it definitely shows and helps, as I think we had a few cars in the top 10. And thank you, James and Jeff, for putting these shows on. Y'all do an awesome job.
Thank you, Eric. Looking forward to having you back up here next week, my friend.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Y'all have a good one.
You as well. That was Eric Parks bringing home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Derek Fulton in the 07 Toyota Tundra putting on the top spot. Derek, good to have you up here, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as the number 1 finisher instead of the 2 or 3rd finisher. I think I've talked to you a few times this year, so it's good to finally get that first win notched off the belt. It was a heck of a race. Everyone was really clean, and it was a ton of fun, man. I love races like that where you never really know how they're going to play out until you see the checkered flag. And I was biting my nails in that last run, just hoping that we wouldn't have a caution because I used up my last set of tires. So if we had a late race caution, then probably would have been a sitting duck there. So, but strategy worked out perfectly for us, and yeah, what else can you say?
Now, Derek, I was actually going to ask you when it came down to it, in that last strategy, how were you feeling towards the end? I know you said you were biting your nails, but were you in two minds, or were you definitely like, I'm for sure going to stay out and I don't have to pit again, or?
Yeah, I did the calculation in my head. I knew if I pit with somewhere, with less than 20 to go, I'd have enough to make it. It takes quite a while to get the second can of fuel in the truck, so I just wanted to time the pit stop where I only had to take 1 can on fuel And that way I didn't have to wait for them to switch the other can over. So I timed it perfectly there. Then that way we got the 2 tires and got back out pretty much in the same spot we went in on. I noticed the guys behind me kind of short pitted a bit, so I knew I had to match that in order to keep that gap up. So that's pretty much what I was thinking, and it worked out perfectly. I was just hoping that we didn't see a caution.
Derek, now, yeah, talking about cautions, we had those couple early ones, seeing the yellow flag fly twice before the lap 30 mark. Were you kind of thinking that was going to be all that tonight was, or were you expecting these long green flag runs later on in the race?
It was a bit 50-50. I could have seen it go either way. I know there's a lot of room on this track, but at the same time, it is kind of one lane, especially through 1 and 2. So that's where it seems to kind of bottleneck up there in turn 1. And yeah, so I mean, it either, if you get away with a decent intermediate run, then usually it'll go green. And that's what I was kind of hoping, banking on at that point. And that's why I threw all my eggs in one basket. And good thing the Easter Bunny was good to me.
Well, Derek, always a great time talking to my friend. Even better when you're on the top spot. And now you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you get up here in victory lane at Kentucky?
First shout out would be FEG PC. They put on these races every week, and they do a great job. You guys in the broadcast booth do a great job. Sponsor shout outs would be Premier Racing Setups. If anybody needs any setup help, we use them for Road to Pro. Use code Fulton 15 for 15% off at checkout, and got an awesome Talladega setup out there for this week. So go ahead and check that out. And then always octawrap.com, just a little side gig that I got myself. But those two are pretty much that's it for me, I guess.
Awesome, Derek. Always a good time, my friend. Congratulations on a very well-deserved win, and hope to see you back up here in the near future. Always a good time talking to you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next week in Talladega.
You as well, buddy. That was Derek Fulton, the very much Canadian 07 machine. Gareth, we had 2 early cautions, and things looked to be good, smooth sailing from there. How was your experience calling the action here tonight?
Oh, fantastic. These drivers certainly know how to put on a show. There's no ifs or buts about that. It was great to watch, and very privileged to be here.
Awesome. Very, very well said. Good having you up here, and great racing, and a lot of fun watching the action here on a Monday night. Let's see. It was Derek Fulton in the top spot. Eric Parks bringing it home second. John Below finishing third. As always, on behalf of FEGPC.net, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name's James East, accompanied by the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister. Thank you all so much. Spend your Monday night with us, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everybody.